That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and tonight we are in the Big Apple, taking a bite out of it the best we can. I will say, though, I have to do my little corny line, of course. I hope tonight the streets make you feel brand new, and these lights, it will inspire you. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! It worked for The Rock and it's going to work for me.
And you just got planted.
That's what it is! This court is adjourned.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
Welcome to Sophistication Station.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters.
And it's time for TSS Fantasy. All right, here we are. It's mano a mano, me and Justin tonight. The other guy, look, Nick basically wears a Dallas Sucks shirt, and all of a sudden, like he disappears off the planet. Welcome to the studio, Justin Jesus Herrera.
Yeah, Nick was going on a heater last night talking about how he doesn't talk about irrelevant teams, but then his speech gets made irrelevant. I love it. Yeah, man, this is exciting. We're really getting into this. Now we're in New York for the second time, going back to the Meadowlands, to the other end zone, Big Blue. It's time to start talking about Saquon, Danny Dimes, and whoever else is in that receiving core. I think Darren Waller is in that too.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit for sure. Best believe it. All right, well, listen, if you have the time, go to tssfantasy.com. I mean, it's a little early, so I get it. But if you're participating in any type of drafts, check us out. We got the rankings up now. We'll hopefully fulfill a little bit of what you need. Again, it's a little early, though, and that's why we're doing our tour, because they'll change as we go along and get our great information from the guests we're getting so far. Also, don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code TSS. We're going to double that deposit up to $100. Just do it. We're going Jazz Sports. Again, promo code TSS. So many promos that I can't even name them, and plus I forget them all. Also, don't forget, go to Pro Am Belts. If you're looking for some bling for your fantasy championship, no better place than Pro Am Belts. All right, we got a busy show. We got guests waiting. I'm super excited. I'm going to bid my boy adieu, and let's bring in the doc. I'll see you in a minute, Justin. The doctor is in, and all hail the New York Giants. Here we are today, Doc. What's up on the house call?
Hey there. So I've been slow to warm up to Daniel Jones. I think I've been maybe overly critical of him. But if we look at him, his interceptions have gone down every single season from the year before. And last year, he's finally established himself as a possible runner, even though most of them have been designed runs. Also last year, he broke into the top 10 quarterbacks in both standard and PPR after spending his first 3 seasons in the 20s. Now he's got some veteran maturity. He played 16 games last season. I think he's going to have a better year this year yet. We're going 20% to the bench for Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley, now he's in his 6th season, but he has yet to return to his glory days from his rookie season, right? 2022, however, was the closest he's been. Again, playing 16 games, and for the first time since that rookie season, he had over 1,300 yards. So I think Saquon Barkley is a great example of how running backs require extra time, at least a full extra season of recovery to get back to their pre-ACL repair selves. Barkley looked good last season. 2023 may be the breakout season I predicted in 2021. Watch out for that for Saquon Barkley. And lastly, Darren Waller. So last year, he was a preseason 85% of the bench. And I counted the number of games he had missed over the last few years. And last year, He played in only 9 games, wasn't in the top 20 in his position rankings. In the last 2 seasons, Waller's missed 14 games. That means in 8 seasons, he's now played a whole 74 games. Only twice has he played in the entirety of the regular season. 95% of the bench, and I think I'm being generous. Don't let his high ceiling from 2019 and 2020 distort your vision of him on draft night. 95% of the bench.
You heard it here first. We'll see you tomorrow, Doc.
See you then.
Ooh, all the Giants fans are not liking that one for sure. But listen, we got some Giants fans waiting to come in. Let's bring our guest in. It's time to hear from the experts.
Our next stop on our summer tour is the city that never sleeps. We take a bite out of the Big Apple with the New York Giants.
All hail the New York Giants!
Welcome in our experts. Let's first welcome in long time, always on during the season, ready to bring it. She's here. I love it. Nikki, welcome into the studio.
Thank you. I love one of my favorite shows, always doing your show. I love being here. And I think it's funny that Nick can't get on.
Isn't it ironic, don't you think?
Yes,
also, from New York Giants Rush. I'm sorry I didn't plug your show when I did that.
Yeah,
Welcome
it's all
in,
good.
Yeah,
boy, Danny, welcome in.
What's
Who I
up?
left off the promo this morning. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome into the studio.
All good, man. All good. I'm used to it. It's all good. Thanks for having me on. I can't wait to talk Giants with you guys, even though I was completely forgotten today. But it's all
Wow. Whoa.
He said he's used to it, Nikki. Like, you gotta treat this guy better on your show, I think. All right,
I
what's going on?
know. It's tough to work with me, you know?
Not at all. Not at all. Let's also welcome, making his podcast re-debut, our boy Anthony the Rook from the Scoreboard Addicts. Welcome into the studio.
What's going on, Coop? How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Going on?
Appreciate you being here. And man, this is like our guy, our big time friend of the show, is always on our show, especially on Sunday mornings. Gotta love it. Love his injury updates as well. Welcome into the studio, Brian Scott from the Injured List Podcast.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here. A little out of my element, not talking injuries today, but my Giants.
Not that's right, indeed. Gotta take the lab coat off every once in a while. And
He's not my brother. He's not my brother.
That's
Look
right.
like-
I put that down below just in case
Yes.
anyone's wondering.
I love it. It's definitely the stepbrother night all of a sudden. I absolutely love it. Thomas Doyle, thanks for checking in, my brother. We appreciate you. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about last season, right? Finished the season 9-7-1, third in the NFC East, but hey, good enough for the playoffs. Not only were you good enough to make the playoffs, beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-24 in that wild card game. That was pretty exciting. I honestly did not pick you guys to win that. Wasn't expecting it at all. However, unfortunately, ran to that buzzsaw in Philly in the next round. But again, I mean, they were the creme de la creme in the NFC, and I think they proved that. So very impressive season, though, overall for the Giants. When we look at them offensively, points per game, you guys were 18th, 21.2. Yards per game, you guys were 19th, 333.4. Passing yards per game, 26, 187.1. Rush yards per game, you guys were 6th, your bread and butter, 135.2. Defensively, points per game, 22.8. You were 22nd. Yards against, 25th, 359.8. Passing yards per game, 200.9 would made you 8th, which was your bread and butter defensively. And rush yards, 13th overall, 213.5. Not too shabby neither to stuff the run. All right, let's just go around the room. Nikki, I'll start with you. 3 words or less, sum up this Giant season, and then just and of course, expand on your thoughts of last year.
So for me, I expected exactly pretty much what happened. So I made 3 predictions last season. I said that they would win 9 games. Brian Dable would be coach of the year. And I was on your show sitting here plugging that Saquon would have a great fantasy year. And, you know, everybody said I was crazy and didn't know what I was talking about. Well, joke's on everybody else because I do know what I'm talking about. So my 3 predictions did come true. I just thought and being around the team, covering the team, being there all summer, I just thought like Brian Dable was the guy for this team. So I think they did just about what I expected last season.
All right. She got no shame in patting thyself on the back tonight.
No.
Nikki said, I love it.
No,
Let's get it.
why?
Danny, let's go to you, man. All right. So she failed the assignment. I'm going to go to you. 3 words or less,
Yes.
sum up the season and expand on it.
Actually the complete opposite of Nikki. It was completely unexpected. I did not see the Giants winning more than 6 games last year, and obviously Dable came in and right the ship, and Daniel Jones was a better quarterback, and obviously Saquon was healthy, and they were able to make the close games into wins. So that was obviously a huge part. I was completely unexpected for me. I was expecting 6 wins tops. I was not feeling confident, and then once the season started rolling, it was exciting. Obviously, as everybody on this panel will agree on it.
Dare I say it was almost Miami Heat-like almost.
It was pretty Miami Heat-like. I would agree with you on that.
All right. Well, the Rook, I'm going to go to you. Let me see. Let me see if you can get this one. 3 words or less.
got one
last
word.
season and expand on it.
A pleasant surprise. That's
There you go. Thank you.
those are my
Go ahead.
3 words or less.
Well, I said expected. That's one word.
I was just having fun with you. Go ahead.
No, I honestly, I'm with Danny. I thought there would be 4 to 6 wins before the season. I didn't think there'd be, a lot of success.
Sure.
It was a pleasant surprise. I mean, I was not a Daniel Jones fan. I was probably one of the Giants fans that hated him. I thought this would be the last year for him. He played amazing. He shut me up. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Love Brian Dable. I didn't think he was going to be the issue going into this season. I wasn't confident in Daniel Jones being the quarterback, and he shut me up with there. He proved me wrong. So, like I said, it's pleasant surprise. When they were going good, I did say when they lost that game on Christmas Eve against the Vikings, I said they're going to go to the playoffs. And they're going to beat the Vikings at home, 100%, and that's exactly what happened. So I was different than you. I believed that they were going to beat the Vikings at home, and it was awesome.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like I said, they were very like it could have. I heard other people. I remember during that time, it wasn't like out of crazy to predict that the Giants were going to win. I heard a few people, that was their sneaky win because of the way the Vikings went into the playoffs. You're like, what identity they have. And look, I'm going to get into it in a second, but looking at the stats and everything, it's crazy how you guys scrapped and clawed, and that's why I say it's a la Miami Heat. You scrapped and clawed your way through the season, got into the postseason, and you started to turn it on when it mattered. And unfortunately, like I said, just didn't meet the ultimate test. But again, a great season nonetheless. Overachieved, I think, anyway. Brian, what do you say, my friend?
Okay, 1 word for me, relieved. And it all comes down to coaching, man. Great pickup in Brian Dable. They finally got a coach who put together a coaching staff that is more than capable of doing what they can do with that personnel. And that's the reason they went as far as they did, Coop, because coaching. You look at those stats, rattling off those rankings where they are. They shouldn't have been where they were in the NFC East. So you got to commend the Giants organization for finally finding the right coach. And Nikki, you're not crazy. Saquon was due to have a bounce back year. He was 2 years removed from his ACL. And if you listen to my show, that's kind of the magic number coming off ACL injuries is that 2-year mark. So no surprise there. And I'm excited to see what this season holds. And I'm glad they used a franchise tag on him because we might not see a season like that from him ever again, unfortunately.
Yeah, you and the doc agreed on that. In fact, he threw some show notes, and I'm sure you guys could both go back and forth on that. And I've talked about that too, quite frankly. If I've had a torn ACL, not that I'm playing pro football, but going out and playing flag football, I was nervous just to cut and move. I can't imagine having these big guys coming towards that knee that you just had surgically repaired, how that feels for you. Thomas Doyle wants to know if Daniel Jones just play good, or did he just avoid the mistakes and turnovers finally? That seems to be it. But that seems to be the mantra of your Giants team, and that's what we were talking about earlier. You guys played tough, mistake-free football, run the football, don't make mistakes, and let your defense win the game. I mean, that's kind of like a la 90s football pretty much, but
Right.
nonetheless, it was effective enough to win the wild card game against the Vikings. So,
But that is
So who
playing
cares?
good, Thomas.
Agreed.
Like if you
No,
are
agreed.
if you are avoiding mistakes and you're not turning over the ball, like that is playing good. I think it's a combination of
Agreed.
everything, right? Like coaching, we're able to get him and right the ship there a little bit. I mean, let's face it, I think we can all agree our wide receiving core there was not the best.
Yeah, until
I
Hodges
mean,
came.
Richie James, we had the thief Kenny Galladay. So I think Daniel Jones did a good job.
The thief in the night. I love it. All right, let's.
Yeah, he
Well,
is.
well, we talked about what was. Let's talk about what is. So, you guys in the offseason, you guys, again, Doc just brought him up, Darren Waller. That was a big offseason move for you guys to make a big splash at the tight end position. Daniel Bellinger was playing good, so it wasn't like, but Darren Waller obviously is a big upgrade there. So that was a big play for you guys. Then you brought in 2 receivers to replace some of the guys that you missed. Jamison Crowder is now on your. Paris Campbell is making a return onto the field. So someone else to look out for you guys. You brought up Kenny Galladay, and I was actually a Kenny Galladay dynasty owner until this particular season. I just was like, some point this guy's all this talent. Oh my God, so I totally am with you there. Richie James, obviously you lost him. And now on the line, you're missing Nick Gates and Joe Feliciano as well. So a little bit of loss with the offense, nothing crazy. In the draft, you went first round, Deonte Banks, cornerback out of Maryland, to address some of the issues in the passing game. Defensively, John Michael Smith, the center. Obviously, we just mentioned the loss of your center as well from Minnesota. Jalen Hyatt, receiver from Tennessee in round 3. Eric Gray, running back in Oklahoma for round 5. Obviously, maybe somebody to spell Saquon. Round 6, Trey Hawkins, cornerback from Old Dominion. Jordan Riley, defensive tackle from Oregon in round 7. And also Javarius Owens, safety out of Houston. All right, let's go around the room. Let's go the opposite way. Brian, I'll start with you. Let's talk. We're talking about what is. So give me a prediction how you think the season plays out for your New York Giants.
Well, I think they're going to hopefully better that win total, maybe by 1 or 2 more this year. I think they put some good pieces that they were missing in the offseason there through the draft, especially. I mean, I think their draft kicked ass. I mean, they hit every nail on the head in the draft. And they got some pretty good steals, I think, when you're looking at that center there from Minnesota, that you mentioned. I mean, they picked him up in the later rounds. I mean, that was awesome. Jalen Hyatt, I don't think a lot of people even had him slipping down as far as he did for the Giants to grab. So they did a great job in the draft. I'm really excited about some of these free agent guys they brought in, and Crowder and Campbell, to strengthen up a horrifically depleted receiver core. And they brought back Slayton, who was probably one of the only guys that really did anything last year. And even he had a bad year by his standards with a lot of drops. So I'm excited to see what they can do. They're going to be without Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson for probably a good portion of the beginning of the season, although Wan'Dale might be ready to go, but I don't think Shepard's going to be ready. But I don't expect much from those guys. So they filled a lot of serious holes on the offensive side of the ball. And they even brought in a couple good defensive players, too. That linebacker, I can't say his name, from Indianapolis. So it should help. I think they did a great job in the offseason, filling some big voids.
All right. I like it. Anthony, what say you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm not going a little too crazy. I think they're around 9 and 10 too. I'm with Brian. I don't want to too over my head here and say the Giants can come out and go 13-4 or something like that. But I think they finally gave Daniel Jones his weapons that he needs. They got Darren Waller, you brought him in, Jalen Hyatt, you drafted him. I think just getting him some sort of weapons. I mean, last year the receiving core was depleted. Richie James was best receiver. Isaiah Hodgins was awesome. Late there in that last quarter of the season. So I think just getting weapons around Daniel Jones definitely helps out the Giants. And my boy Brian Dable, you were saying before, the team grinds, they scrap and claw. He's a hockey fan, right? He loves the New York Rangers, see him all the time. He's at the Garden. He's that's what he is. He's a scrappy guy. He's a hockey guy, and you gotta love him. So I think with Brian Dable getting some weapons around Daniel Jones, and they brought back Dexter Lawrence too. You can't forget about him. He was huge last year.
All pro.
All pro, really stepped it up and proves why he was drafted where he was. So I think the Giants they'll probably say, I don't think they're reaching the level of the Eagles yet, but they're on their way there.
All right, Danny, what say you?
I'm with Rook. I think we might have a better team on paper, but unfortunately, the schedule looks as of today's date looks a little harder than what it was last year, and also the fact that we played in so many tight games. As much as I would love for them to win all those tough games as last year, but that changes year to year. So if we lose a game or two because of the season, I think 7-9, 10-6 would be a nice stepping stone for us to keep on building the process of the last couple of years. We're not there yet, like Rook said. We need to find a way to beat the Cowboys and Eagles in our division. We won one division game last year, so we got to figure something out in our own division. Once we start doing that, I'll be more confident. Until then, I'm going to be a little bit more pessimistic.
Well, you do know that at some point you do come down south to face America's team, the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, I was looking at the schedule just now. That is October 8th.
Take an L down south. All right, Nikki, give me that prediction.
Shut your mouth, Alicia
18-0.
Keys. You're like quoting Alicia Keys in the open. Just be quiet over there, because I'm coming to Miami for that one. So
all right, well, I'm ready. I got a seat ready for you. So let's go.
I know you do. I'm gonna go about 10 wins so far. I get asked like every single day, what is my prediction here? I'm gonna go 10 wins. Let's give credit to consistency, right? It's a second year under Brian Daboll. I'm telling you right now, just being there from covering camp so far, all the players are really excited, and they have all said the same thing. I feel better going into my second year under this regime. I know it's expected of me. Most of the coaches are in place, and it helps smooth things out throughout the year. So I think let's give a lot of credit to that. The wide receiving room just got a lot faster, right? So you look at Waller, adding Paris Campbell there. So we got a lot of speed coming. I'm telling you, Daniel Jones looks confident as hell on that field. He is commanding that field. So I think we're going to probably hit about 10 wins. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 11.
Oh, all right. She's going big time with 11 wins.
See, as you could see, I'm the even kill one. She's the crazy.
She's all about it.
I do want to note, we may have only had one win in division. We also had one tie. All right.
That's true.
Okay, I was gonna say that, but yes,
this
the effect of the talking point. It's like kissing your sister.
Tino, thanks for checking in. Everyone's doing great, my brother, because right now we had a little bit of serious talk. We talked about what is and what was. It's time for a little fun. Let's break it up. We got our boys from the girl and boy from the New York Giants Rush. And we got the Step Brothers tonight. We're going to team up tonight. We're going to play the Fantasy Quiz Show Giants edition. Let's get it.
There seems to be no sign of intelligence.
It's the Fantasy Quiz Show.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's gonna be a long game. Not gonna be a long game tonight because we got Giant experts in the building. So as the game goes, it plays just like Family Feud. I'm going to pit two of you against each other. I'll ask a question, shout out your answer, and whoever has the highest one will get to steal it for their team. You guys will get a chance to close out all 5 questions. If you don't, you get 3 strikes. The other team will get a chance to steal it. So let's get it started. Let's go, Nikki and Anthony, right off the jump. Top 5 answers are on the board. Here is your first question. Always like to lay it up for the first one. So here's your first layup. We want to go all-time history now in Giants history. Top 5 answers. I'm looking for your top 5 passing yard leaders.
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
I need my teammate on it. Come on. Can we have teamwork?
Eli Manning, numero uno on the list, 57,023 yards. Okay, well, time to tag in your boy, Bri. What do you got, Bri, on this list?
Oh, dear.
I know.
This is tough because I'm a child of the '80s, and I don't think I followed the Giants much back then.
Oh, come on. There's a huge guy in the 80s. I think he's up there.
You think Phil Sims then? I'll go Phil Sims.
Phil Sims. Phil Sims is number 2 on this list.
Right.
He is 33,462. All right, now things get very interesting. Anthony, what do you say?
I'm going to go to old history here. I don't know if this is going to be right because back then they didn't really pass it off. I'm going to say Y.A. Tittle.
Y.A. Tittle.
I was thinking.
Tittle be this. Fry. Tittle be this. Let's go. You got 1 strike. 3, 4, and 5 is on the board.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I know he wasn't like a starter, but he did fill in admirably when Sims went down. Was Hosteller up there in the top 5?
Jeff Hosteller. Oh boy, there's a little bit of meat on this bone. Anthony, can he get a little nibble?
I'm truly trying to rack my brain here. Only person I can think of who went to Super Bowl with the Giants is Kerry Collins. I'm gonna go.
Kerry Collins.
He's definitely not there.
Kerry
That
Collins.
was my guess. I was hoping you were going to say that.
He doubts himself and he nails it. Kerry Collins, number 4 on this list, 16,875. That makes number 3 and number 5 really interesting. So I'm gonna go back to you, Bri. Can you?
Oh my God,
listen,
Rook, give me some help here, Rook. I don't know.
You got there's no help in this round. You got to get this on your own. 2 strikes on the board. Let's see. Can you save your team here?
I could probably name more guys who it's not than who it is.
Well, every time you say it's not, you guys seem to get it. So maybe go with that instinct. Maybe.
I mean, God, Eli's been there for so long. I can't even think of who came between him and the guy before, Kerry Collins. I don't know, Rook. I don't know.
Judge in the back. You know what to do, Judge.
I don't even know any quarterback.
It's gonna be someone from like the 70s.
It's got to be. I don't even know who those guys
are. All right,
are.
so let's go to Danny and Nikki. Get a chance to steal here. You guys can talk amongst yourselves, but I think Danny will just be having his own conversation amongst himself.
Yeah, he's playing for me for this one.
Can you steal it, Danny?
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary. Fran Tarkenton.
Frank Tarkenton. Frank Tarkenton, number 5 on this list by the hair of your chinny chin chin, 13,905. Number 3, Charlie Connerly, 19,000.
I was also going to say that.
You were really going to say, wow.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is. So everyone else I heard of except number 3. So
I was actually going to say Dave Brown. Did he even make that list?
I don't know. I just go to the top 5.
Not the top 5.
That's about all I got. All right. So Danny and Brian, boy, now that I realize this might be a little mismatch to start things out. Just play with you, Brian. All right, let's go. Question number 2. Top 5 answers are on the board. Again, we're going to go back to all-time history here, but I'm looking at the rushing TD leaders of all time.
Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs.
His social media handle is that.
I just met him. I just had a nice conversation with him on Tuesday.
That's awesome.
That's his Instagram tag.
Shout out to Brandon Jacobs, my friend. 60 TDs, the Giants' all-time rushing leader. All right, Nikki, what say you?
Come on, get the layup, Nikki. Come on.
Saquon? Is he on there?
Saquon Barkley. Ooh.
No.
No bueno.
All right.
Let's go. Let's go back to Danny.
Tiki Barber.
Tiki Baba. Boy, he was a fantasy diamond for sure. Tiki Barber, number 2, 54 5 on this list. All right. Well, Nikki, he didn't leave you the layup. So what do you got now?
I know. Go, Danny. You go.
I'm sorry.
You're playing.
It's your go though, Nikki. That's not how the game
but
goes.
I'm
Not how the
passing
game
it.
works.
I'm passing it to him.
You gotta make a guess, Nikki.
I wish
Come
we
on.
had this one, man.
Think. Just go through the history of the Giants and like some running backs.
We've had some great running backs too.
I
They really
know.
have.
You're like drawing a
I,
blank.
I
on
should have let
everybody.
you get that one. I'm sorry. It
I
was at the tip
know.
of the tongue.
Go ahead. Just throw you. Go for me.
Come
All
on.
right,
Ronnie
two strikes
Hampton.
on the
Rook, we can
batter.
definitely make the steal here, Rook.
Yeah.
Danny, who you got?
Rodney Hampton.
Rodney Hampton. Rodney Hampton on this list is number 3 with 49. I'll be impressed, Nikki, if you can somehow get 4 or 5. Let's see. Do you have a guess?
Got it. I know. I like draw a blank. This is why I'm horrible at trivia. You don't want me on your trivia team.
Hey, don't give her the answer.
Oh, who's giving answers down there?
Oh, somebody's giving an answer.
I don't think he made the top 5. That's
No,
all
I don't
right.
think-
I
I think
wouldn't
it's
have
top
put, if I wouldn't have put it up if it was a correct answer. I just was
Yeah,
just
no.
showing the audience participation.
All right. Who else do we have?
Think 80s. Think 80s.
That's the problem. Like, I was a baby.
You still follow the Giants, though.
I know. Yeah, but like not when I was a child. 80s. I really don't know.
Hitter judge.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, I need help. I try to get Danny for help. Why can't this be a team effort? Why
we
can't
stealing
you
this
prefer with your
That's not how the game is played. You've seen Family Feud. They don't get to question each person and be like, "Hey, what do you
you
think?"
should change the game.
All
Brian,
right,
who do you think of,
let's
Brian?
go, Rook. What do you and Brian
Oh,
can
it's-
talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, it's
There's not a
got
lot
to
of
be
meat
one of
left.
2 guys. It's either in the top 5. It's either Joe Morris or Otis Anderson.
Yeah, I was thinking Joe Morris, which actually sucks. I actually have an autographed Joe Morris ball, but I'm in the process of moving. I haven't unpacked.
And that's
everything.
it. Then that's got to be it. Let's go with
Joe
that.
Morris.
Joe Morris. Oh, Joe Morris. He is number 4 on the
I would
list
have
with
never
48.
gotten that.
Oh,
Never.
Joe
Number
Morris is great.
5, Alex.
I should have
Sylvester.
just went. I messed that up. I should have went for the lowest ones, and then you got the layups.
Well,
Yeah.
now, hey, but that's all right. Now you've learned your lesson, and we're moving on. Right? It's 1-1. There's still plenty of time left. Here we go.
Wait,
Nikki
speaking-
and Anthony, you guys are up. Now the questions get a little more challenging.
Oh God.
Let's go. Let's go. Top 5 answers on the board. I want to know about winning percentages, and I want to know about other franchises. So, top 5 answers. I want to know the top 5 franchises you have the best winning percentage against.
Oh, come on, Nikki. Come on.
Oh, do I go first?
Was it?
Sure.
One of you.
Whoever.
Commanders.
The Washington Commanders.
Damn.
They are a close number 6.
Oh.
I happen to know that on this list.
Damn it.
Brian, what do you think?
Can I consult with my?
No, it's Anthony's go. He's got to make a guess. It's
What is it? Top, you
individual
said top
time.
winning percentage.
The best winning percentages you have against franchises.
Oh, I thought of
I'm
all
gonna say
time.
the Niners.
Yeah, of all
I don't know
time.
why.
Say what?
The Niners.
The 49ers.
All right.
I have no
Our,
idea.
our judge, the 49er fan, had to throw the slap on you, Anthony. That's all that was.
Oh,
All right, Nikki, I'm going to go back to you. What guess do you got?
Oh, let's see.
This is a tough one, actually.
I know. I
Told
really
you.
thought it was the Commanders. I guess.
Yeah, I thought so too.
They were
I
close.
know.
There, like I said, they were 6 on the list.
There's 6.
Has to be an obscure team.
I
Yeah,
know.
it probably is.
I don't know. The Jets. Like
The Jets. Anthony.
Original BXB has a good.
I'm trying to think of like an original, like NFL team. But then I feel like they played so many times against each other. I'm just gonna pick the Jags because I feel like they don't play that often. I feel like they usually beat the Jags.
The Jaguars.
Jags is up there.
I think we have to move over here. You gotta go over to.
So now we're going into the overtime rules, but we're gonna give Danny and Brian a chance to make this before we get into overtime. So Danny, you'll be up first. Do you have a guess?
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals.
The Cardinals. There's 32 teams. Eventually, you are going to get one of them. So when we go back and forth a little bit, we just to not make a bunch of time, we just go to the OT rules, and the first one who gets it correct gets it, but it has to be the highest. So the Cardinals on this list, Danny, are number 4. You're 81, 46.
It's on you, Brian.
Come on, Brian.
So Brian, you get a chance here. You get a chance. There's 1, 2, and 3 left available.
Well, how about the Chargers?
The Superchargers.
No,
Stop it. Get some help.
Eli's never beaten them.
So here is the list. The top one, the Houston Texans. You are 5-1 all time, 833 winning percentage.
I knew it was an AFC South team, though.
Guess who's number 2? The Chiefs. You guys are 11-4 all time against the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, America's team, the Miami Dolphins. 7-3. 7-3 against the Dolphins. Original. All right, our judge is having a good time. Original BXP nailed it actually earlier. And number 5 on the list, the Buccaneers, 15-9 all time against the Bucs. Believe it or not. All right, let's go round number 4. We got where are we at? We got Danny and we got Brian up, and it's 2-1. So if Danny and Nikki take this round, it's night for the Step Brothers. We're gonna go top 5 answers on the board. Here is the question. We're gonna keep it with winning percentage because that was so much fun. But let's go the opposite way. Top 5 franchises you have the worst winning percentage against.
Bears.
Eagles.
We first heard the Bears.
Why?
And then we heard the Eagles.
Wow. Jesus.
Not on said list. I think like the Commanders, they're sitting right on the outside. Brian, what else you got?
Let's go with the Rams.
The Rams? He snags it for the team. The Rams are number 2 on this list. You're 16-28 all time against the Rams.
I just remember those years, man. Kurt Warner and Torrey Holt and Marshall Faulk used to destroy everybody.
Absolutely. All right, well, you guys got it for the round. Anthony, what do you got?
I'm going to say this again because I said it for the win percentage. I'm going to say the Niners.
The Niners? I think he wanted to hit the check mark. I know he did. All right, not correct on this list. All right, back to Bry, who's on fire over here. What do you got?
Let's go with the Broncos.
The Broncos. Anthony, let's ride. You got 2 strikes. A lot of meat here.
This is tough. There's a lot of teams left. Let's see. I'm trying to think of historically great teams. Let's say the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. They did make the list. They are number 5, 46.
It hurt me. It hurt me to say it, but I knew that.
46, 73, and 2 all time against the Cowboys. All right, well, you got number 2 and 5. Brian, what do you got?
Is this it? Is this like for the win here?
Well, if you don't get it, they'll have a chance to steal
boy.
and win.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man. They
No
beat them in
pressure.
the Super Bowl, but it was only because of a missed kick. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
the Buffalo Bills.
You idiot.
Apparently, they had no problem circling the wagons against the Giants. All right. Well, you guys got a lot of meat here. You got, let me see, you got number 1, you got number 3, and number 4. If you snag any of those 3, you're the winner.
Okay.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves and get a consensus.
I think it's the Chargers because we have not beaten them since Eli Manning has been a Giant.
What do you say?
And then Mike Lennon 2 years ago.
All right.
You letting it ride?
I'll ride with my teammate.
San Diego Superchargers. They are on this list. Good call indeed. They are number 4 on this list. Chargers are 5 and 8 all time against the Chargers. Number 1, well, actually, they're tied with the Rams, but they have them listed number 1. The New England Patriots, 4 and 7 all time against the Patriots.
Thank God 2 of those are important. So
yeah,
exactly. And number 3, the Minnesota Vikings, 10 and 17 against those Vikings all time. Well, Nikki and Danny, congratulations. You are tonight's winners.
Good game, guys. Good game.
Good game. Good game. I feel like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I got you covered with the claps there, Coop. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. The judge. What's going on, Judge?
Hold on. I thought they split it. Wasn't that a split?
No, we lost.
Should we throw a flag? Let's get the replay. Let's go to the replay.
There you go.
No, they got the
All right.
OT.
Budget.
Holy hallelujah, we've done it.
That was for Dan.
Before we go to our losers tonight, this is for our judge.
Very nice.
Valid question.
Gotta love it. All right. Well, unfortunately, Brian Anthony, with winners, we do have ultimately our friend.
Dumbass. Dang these. They call me dumbass. Black guy, stupid.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Good game nonetheless. I appreciate you guys playing. It was a lot of fun. We're about to go on to our next segment, the Fantasy Focus. You guys are welcome to stick around. Before we do that, I want to give you a chance to plug yourself. That way, if you want to skedaddle, all good with me. Nikki, where can we find, subscribe, get all your great content?
You guys can follow me all social media platforms at NikkiNick9384. Our YouTube channel is New York Giants Rush. We have a Giants-based show every Monday night at 8, and you can find Rush Hour hosted by me, co-hosted by Danny. Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, we go around the league, fantasy football, betting, but it's the off season, so we're having some fun. We're getting some division panels in, and last night we did a unique, fun take on ranking the NFL fan bases. So if you missed us last night, please go and check it out on YouTube, like, and subscribe.
I know America's team better been number damn 1. All right, Danny, what do you say, my friend? Where can we subscribe and get all your great content?
As you can see at DBHan on Twitter, I keep my Instagram private. You can find, obviously, like Nikki said, all the New York Giants Rush platforms. You'll see me on Wednesday nights with Nikki. And then the occasional Monday night. So
nice.
Yeah, catch me there.
Appreciate you being in. And like I said, welcome to hang out with us. Brian, where can we subscribe, get all your great content, my friend?
Well, the good news is you won't have to hear me do any more of this because I do injuries, and that's what I'm best at. So you can find me doing that on right here during the football season, probably every Thursday. Are we doing, Jason, this year? I don't even know.
Sunday and Tuesdays, yes.
Sunday and Tuesday. I'm usually doing injury updates. I'll be doing stuff with Andrew Leduc. We'll be doing our articles again inside the medical tent this year. We did them last year. They were a big hit. So you can find that in print or online. Not print, but online. And Injured List Podcast, www.injuredlistpodcast. You can find me all over social media, mostly on Twitter and on Fantasy Sports Core.
Yeah, check Bri out. He's got a lot of great updates for you, especially when you're looking at your fantasy roster, waiver updates, all that kind of good stuff. Brian's going to be there for your updates as you need them. Anthony making his big return back to the podcasting world. Where can we subscribe and get all of your great content, my friend?
Well, I'm with the Scoreboard Addicts, and we're on Fantasy Sports Corporation. So if you subscribe here, you're going to subscribe to our show as well, which we do Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30. And you can follow me at the Rook 22. Also, we have TikTok at Scoreboard Addicts Pod, and our Twitter is at Score Addicts Pod. And then you can follow my TikTok. It's at the Rook Troyce. I post a lot of stupid stuff, sports stuff, being a dad, just stupid memes and everything like that. So if you enjoy stupid stuff like that and want to have a good laugh, follow me there. But follow the guys and me at the Scoreboard Addicts Pod.
Anthony's a great salesman, as you can see. Hey, if you like stupid stuff, you come
That's what it is. It is just stupid laughs.
I'm gonna have to follow that.
That we're gonna get on Danny's private Instagram. All right, let's get it started. We're gonna hit our commercial break. We get back, we'll do our fantasy focus. Thank you guys so much for being in again. Please welcome to stay. But if not, it was appreciate you having me as usual. And good luck to your Giants.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code TSS to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Gingerbread is not a good girl. She just muddied the whole house up. All right, let's get on to our fantasy focus. It's been raining, so she dug a hole and then ran to the house. That's whatever. All right, let's get on to our fantasy focus. And, I got to tell you, I was looking at this Giants team, and I didn't want to say anything earlier to you guys, but you guys are still here, so I'm just going to say it now. I really think you guys are going to take a big step back next year. And I understand that Brian Daboll is a great coach and all that, but to go through what you did statistically, I can't see it. I don't think you made any improvements. You guys were talking. Let me get on to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, 15th, I got him as for this season. Last year, he finished 9th overall. He surprised everyone, and he was a darling if you sat there and waited and got him as one of your backup QBs, because that was basically where he was getting drafted at last year. So this season, I don't think, you guys were talking a lot about the receiving core getting faster. I'm sorry, I almost wanted to snicker. I mean, I'm just like, are you kidding me with these? Like, I just don't understand what your organization was doing. If you're going to put the money behind your QB, you got to get him some weapons. I understand that he runs a lot, but you also got to get him some playmakers. There's one sitting out there right now, unsigned. He's not even visited you guys. I don't understand why you're not calling out to Hopkins. Get a playmaker for Daniel Jones, because if you don't, I see you guys with a big regression this year, and Daniel Jones in particular. I'm sorry to say that. Please don't kill me.
Wow, I should have dropped off at the commercial break.
Justin, what say you, my friend?
Don't worry, guys. I'm here to save the day. I'm here to bring this whole mood back up. I got him at number 10. And it's for every reason that you just said, Commissioner. He had, in my eyes, not a great season last year, but he was able to pull it out because he's a rushing quarterback. In his heart of heart, he's a rushing quarterback, and Brian Daboll taught the best rushing quarterback we have in the league right now, Josh Allen, how to incorporate running the ball into his game and make him a fantasy stud. And what did he do the first year with Daniel Jones? Did the same fucking thing. So look at it this way. They got Jalen Hyatt, a stud speedster from Tennessee. Love the addition. Hopefully he stays healthy. They got Darren Waller, a stud across the middle. Like, this is a guy who at one point we were talking about got 18 targets in one game. You know why that was? Because the Raiders saw his value. If he can stay off the injury list, he's going to have one of those values that goes straight through the roof again. Another big season. And then you still got Saquon Barkley. Still got to sign, but, I mean, when he's on the field, he's probably the most impressive back in the entire league. So I like what they have there. They also got a plethora of speedsters. So if, Hyatt gets injured, if Slayton gets injured, if Hodgins gets injured, they just kind of replace them with whoever, Johnny, whoever, Sterling, whoever. They find these guys, they put them on the field, and they make do with it. That's why they made their run last year. I'm sticking with Daniel Jones still in that top 10. I like what he did last year.
Sterling, whatever he said. Where do you have Daniel Jones?
I know I could see him in top 10. So I did grab him as a backup last season, and then I kind of had to roll with him. I didn't have a choice. And listen, he did well for me in fantasy. I didn't win my league, but I'm this close. I made it so close. But again, I'm just going to keep harping on the speed. It was something we didn't have last year. And to think about Waller, right? He is huge, and our wide receivers are very small. So I think he's going to open up this offense. He's going to get a lot of targets. Paris Campbell is really becoming a favorite target of Daniel Jones. And Hodgins, he got 5 red zone targets from weeks 13 to 17 last season. So I think he's just going to continue to be a target machine for this team.
I just would have liked to have seen them do a little more in the offseason. That's all I'm saying. I just wish they would have got him something.
I don't think you got to.
There really wasn't anybody out there yet.
Who? And with what money?
Listen, I'm not in your pocketbook, so I don't really know all that much. But anyway, all right, Danny, let's go to you. What do you say? Where you got him at?
I think he's in that fringe starter role. If it's a 12-team league, he could be that starter if you decide to go with him. I also think he's a good stash because, like you mentioned before, obviously he's mostly relying on the rushing yardage. So if he opens up the passing yardage and hopefully scores more than 15 touchdowns, I would love to see top 10, because if he finds a way to score more, like let's say 20, 25 passing touchdowns and roughly around 3,000 yards, I'm not saying he could do that. That would be obviously wonderful. Plus his running, he will be in the top 10. So I think he's fringe top 10 right now, and hopefully he finds his ceiling this year.
All right, Anthony, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm agree with Danny here. I think he's like kind of fringe. I don't know if I'd start him off the bat, but I definitely would stash him away. If he's he's a dual threat quarterback. This is what I'm not saying he's on the same level of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, but those guys have value because they're able to score both ways, right? They're able to throw passes and they're able to score on the feet. And when you rush the touchdown, they're worth more in points than a passing touchdown. So if you're able to get 13 to 15, what do you have last year? 8? Sorry, how many did you get?
I don't know.
Receptions?
No, for rushing yards. Is it 8? Eight rushing touchdowns?
That sounds about right.
Like 7 or 8, right? If that number goes up a little bit, I mean that's value right there. And then you also look at the fact that he does have better weapons than last year. No offense to receiving core last year, but they're not what they have this year. I agree with Nikki. They're faster now. You have Darren Waller in the middle there. If he stays healthy, it's going to be a key weapon that Daniel Jones is going to rely upon. And I think his pass yards are going to go up. The offensive line is a little bit better, I think, than last year. So I think he might have a little more protection, a little more time to throw the ball, and then have to escape all the time and rush the ball a lot. So I think in terms of passing and rushing yards, I think he's a dual threat type of guy. And that's, like I said, I'm not going to start him, but definitely stash him away. And then if he gets hot, then you're going to play him.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get to where the meat and potatoes of this fantasy roster is concerned with this running back position. Saquon Barkley, he's definitely back, healthy, ready to rumble. Finished last year number 6. Nikki, I actually did listen to you, believe it or not, because I did have you on the show and you were harping on him a lot. And I have 3 of those big money leagues that I'm in. I play a lot of other ones, but the ones that I have like the vested interest in. And I actually won 2 out of the 3. And the one was because I had Saquon Barkley.
You're welcome.
In my lineup. Absolutely. Thank you. 100%. So yeah, listen, I mean, you don't need a lot of analysis here. Saquon Barkley is back. A little disgruntled sounding for some whatever reason, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. You guys can probably lay in that a little more than I could. Listen, and nobody's really spelling him. It's Saquon Barkley all day. He's one of those elite guys that you want to jump up for at that running back position. Justin, what say you?
Yeah, you don't really got to say anything. Just hope that he signs. That's it. Hope that he signs. That's my analysis. I hope he signs. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if he's on the sidelines, then Eric Gray is your man, I guess.
Let's go. Let's go. Matt Breida. Let's go. Bring it all. All right, Anthony, let's go to you on this one. What do you say?
I'm with Justin. I mean, you gotta sign him. You gotta make him happy. I just be afraid that, I mean, could he be, what did you say? He was 6 last year. Could he be a top 5 guy? Of course he could, but it's just whether or not he plays. I'm worried about right now. He's already threatening that he may possibly hold out. I mean, they have the contract out there. Offer is out there. You got to see it's the ball's in his court. Him and his camp got to decide what they're going to do. And if he comes back, he wants to be a Giant for life. He doesn't want to set the market for running backs. So then I think the contract right now is in front of him. Exactly what you do. You'd be Giant for life, and he won't set the running backs market. But he's got to be happy,
Indeed.
That's the fucked up thing, isn't it, too? Like, he's actually saying, like, I'll take a team-friendly deal.
Yeah.
And they're still like, we don't know how much longer you're going to last. And we're like everybody else. We don't want to, like, hedge our bets on a running back. Like, come on, dude. Yeah, exactly. He's not trying to be like the guy that's going after 16 mil.
Right. No. And, he's definitely worth it, to say the least. Danny, what say you?
Obviously, he's going to be a top 5 running back. I think it's gonna come down to, I think, the final minutes to the final hours on July 17th. So I'm not worried yet. It doesn't sound like Saquon's worried yet, and the Giants don't seem to be too worried yet. But it's getting to the point of, all right, we need to sit down and refigure this out because, like Rook and Justin just said, they stated the obvious with that. So I'm not worried yet.
Nikki, what say you?
They'll get a deal done. I think it does come down to that final hour. Just to clarify, the deal is not on the table. They have opened up lines of communication, but a formal deal has not been presented. So, but I do think that they will get something done. And if they do, I mean, you obviously draft him. I mean, in fantasy, he's a no-brainer. So jump up for him, reach, whatever you got to do.
And I'm calling his bluff for sitting out. There's no way
he's not going to sit out. He's not going to sit out.
I agree with you. I know it's just out there. You got to think about it, but I don't think he's going to do it. I think it's jump for him.
I actually agree. He just looks like, and as you guys were talking to, and like knowing the player he is, he just seems like a football player. Like he doesn't want to be all involved in this nonsense. But like Justin said, it is kind of messed up that they're not like, hey, okay, let me do something for this guy. Being he is.
It's literally a respect thing, and they're not showing the respect to him.
Right.
So I can see him sitting out because of the fact that this is a guy who had so much respect for his team, and his team's not, reciprocating it. But I hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle because there were rumors in the bye week that they had a great offer on the table, and he unfortunately said no. So you don't know who to believe in this situation because if that's in fact the real story, he overplayed his hand, and then once you saw the market, it was just like, Saquon, what are we doing kind of thing. So hopefully for him, and for our sake, because obviously he's one of the better athletes I've seen in a Giants uniform in the last 25 years, other than maybe Odell. So we got to get him signed.
Well, let's go on to the receiver position because
Let's have fun.
honest, this is the biggest anomaly I have found so far doing these little pre-study of the teams. I went through this depth chart and was like, huh? That's why I was saying this earlier. It felt like, when the Cavs used to get, have LeBron and just used to throw anybody and everybody they could to help him out. That's literally what, to me, this feels like. But that's why I want you guys in here tonight so you guys can explain
I got you.
and tell me why any of these people are worth targeting. Justin, let me go to you, though, since you've been in the back. Start with you. You tell me. Do you got somebody you want to target in here?
Yeah. And I'm okay with the value of it. Jalen Hyatt is a guy I'm really high on. I think he can make an impact on this team. As far as Isaiah Hodgins, I had him rostered for a long time on my bench, or not on my bench, on my taxi squad. Happy that he finally came of age after being like totally locked down on the practice squad in Buffalo. I don't know if it's gonna be something where it's gonna continue success. He looked good, but you got to think maybe he was on the practice squad for a reason in Buffalo. And then there's the Slaytons and the Shepherds and the guys that you're always kind of like, oh yeah, he'll be on the waiver wire. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it. I'll go after Jalen Hyatt, and then everybody else I'll kind of just be like, you know what? They'll be on the waiver wire a little bit later on. I'll go catch them then.
It's Sterling Shepard. He always seems to be that guy for me where I'm like 1 week where I need to like a little fill in. He used to be real sweet in the PPR, aspect, but right now, obviously with his injury, that's a little bit in question. Danny, we'll start with
He'll
you.
have that 20-point game, and then he'll get injured.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be the hot pickup that week. It'll be the hot pickup. Everyone go get Sterling Shepard. All right,
Yeah.
Danny, what say you, my friend? Any of these guys that can I target or look at any of them?
I mean, as Justin mentioned, these are all deep stash guys. If you need them in an injury or a bye week situation, and the matchup's saying it's good, get them. But obviously, it's you need to throw to someone. So I've always liked Darius Slayton. He does get the volume of yardage. It's just really, can he eventually hold on to the ball and get even more yardage? He's obviously been Daniel's favorite target his whole career. I had him in a couple of times, but obviously that's a deep stash. I like the Hyatt, like Justin said, if you're in a dynasty league or something with that. That's obviously the best stash of all the Giants young guys, because he's obviously young and you don't know what to expect out of him. And if he goes off, you're not going to get him unless you're like 1 or 2 on the waiver. So between those guys, I would say that I would love to see what happens with Paris Campbell, obviously, what we mentioned with his speed and can he finally break out. And then Hodgins, who is obviously a great piece. He's definitely our biggest wide receiver. So he's going to find a way to be a big focal point on that big third down if Waller is obviously locked up. I think he's Mr. Reliable, and he's proven it the second half of last season. Whenever Daniel was in trouble, he would find a way to get Isaiah. So it's really going to be interesting to see if they play a lot in preseason and where do you go. So you really can't like dictate that yet. It's going to be stay far away as you possibly can. If you're a Giant homer, go with your favorite Giant wide receiver and keep him on the bench.
And hope that he steps up for sure. Nikki, are you targeting any of these guys?
I actually really like Paris Campbell as a sleeper pick. He is, like I mentioned before, really quickly becoming a favorite target of Daniel Jones. Their chemistry is really, really good on the field. So, and he's sneaky fast. He had a great year, in Indy, but I think he's in the right fit here. He's very happy to be playing for Brian Daboll. And I see the chemistry. I already see it forming, and it's only June. So I really do like Paris Campbell for a sleeper pick. And like I said, I think Hodgson's just going to get better. We didn't have him for a full season last year. He ranked number 1 last year in his route win rate and against man coverage. So, I just think the targets are going to keep coming for him. We'll get a full season out of him. But yeah, I think Paris Campbell, sneaky pick there.
Yeah, and Wes commenting that the ADP will be fascinating in redrafts. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. Anthony, what say you, my friend? You targeting any of these guys?
I feel like it's a crapshoot. It's just a crapshoot with the Giants receivers. Just going through the depth chart, you have Hodges, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard. I know he's hurt, but when he's healthy, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's hurt when he's healthy. Jamison Crowder, David Sills. All these guys, had key plays at one point last year. They went to pretty much everyone. So for me, it's just hard to target who's going to be the top guy. Isaiah Hodgins obviously was much better that last, I'm going to say last quarter of the season. He was their top receiver. So you're going to say maybe him as being the top target, but I just don't know if I could trust week in, week out playing these guys, my wide receivers, depending on where your league is at. If you have 2 wide receiver slots or 3 wide receiver slots, do you really want to waste it on having one of these Giants receivers? You're not. So, as a team in regular football, do I believe in them? Yes. But as a fantasy, I'm not going to waste time on too many Giants receivers unless, like Danny said and Justin said, stash them away. And Nikki said it too, stash it, sleeper, whatever you may do with it. But if anything, I like Wan'Dale. I think he's the fastest guy in the room, but it's just whether or not he's healthy. But I would go with him, maybe draft him late, or even just get him off the waiver wire at that point because now he's going to be hurt.
Nikki, was he on the practice field yesterday?
No.
Okay.
Yes, he's not even in. He's not in practice right now. He's not. Who knows if he's going to start the season? So
how many games did he end up playing last year too?
He finally broke out the game he got hurt. That's what sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, he pulled a Sterling Shepard. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Kadarius.
It was a shitty loss, but he broke out. It was the Lions.
Hey, we love Kadarius Toney because he stopped the Eagles from winning a Super Bowl and Bradbury. So it's like got nothing but love for them.
Always the Giants being an factor of everything.
It's like the Kevin Bacon thing, I guess, right? All right. So let's go on to the tight end position, and we're going to wrap things up. Normally at this time, we'll do tight end and defense, but I'm just going to stop you right there. There's no reason to even talk about this defense for fantasy relevance, so we'll just move on from that. Let's talk about unless what they play the Commanders, maybe.
Yeah,
well, I'm hoping for a breakout year for Kayvon, and hopefully Azeez gets healthy. Those would be the only reason if later in the season the Giants are a defense to waiver. Hopefully Kayvon breaks out and Azeez stays healthy. That would be it for me. But I'm not drafting them until they prove it to me. But those are the two guys, obviously.
For fantasy purposes, they would definitely be matchup dependent for sure at the very minimum. All right, let's go to the tight end position, though. Obviously, the big splash with Darren Waller. I have him currently number 8. I'm just so scared to have him there, though, because, again, it's the injury issue with him. So it's concerning. But, if you guys mention it, if he stays healthy, it's on and popping. And I got to say, I hate it too because I hear it. If you saw the Dolphin show, I'm constantly hearing this. Well, if Tua stays healthy, okay. Why don't we talk about it if every team's QB goes down? If Josh Allen goes down, what are the Bills going to be like? So let's just stop talking about it. So I'm going to stop talking about it too. Darren Waller should have a great season. He's big. He's nasty. Daniel Jones is going to look for him because what the hell else is he throwing it to? So we were talking about this with the Eagles receivers. There's not much other than Goddard to look at. Same situation here. It's Darren Waller's show right here. There's no one really else. So he could have a huge breakout season. Like I said, just look at these receivers. All right, let's go to Nikki. We'll go to you first on this one. What do you say?
Listen, March 15th, I said on my show, Darren Waller is going to have a massive fantasy season. And I am petty enough when he does, I'm going to find that clip and post it and just hammer it like I did last year. I'm all in on him. Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah,
Post it right now, so then you don't have to go find it.
I'm
You
gonna
can just
snipe
repost
there.
it.
I can't snipe him if we're in a league with Nikki because she'll kill me.
I will.
She nonstop Darren Waller. So if you're in a league with Nikki and you swipe Waller, you might die. So
Dead to me. You're done. No, but he, like I said, he's going to open up this offense, and he is. I know these guys are huge, but I saw him in person, just give the little nod or whatever. And I'm like, God damn, he's huge. Like, he's a big guy. So, like I said, the team wide receiver wise, they're short on size. So I think Daniel Jones is just going to throw to him, probably treat him like that number one wide receiver. So I think the targets are going to be there, and their chemistry is developing really nicely as well.
He is your number one receiver. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Danny, what say you?
Definitely. Basically what Nikki says, and I don't want to say if injuries, but obviously the last 2 seasons have dictated that narrative. So hopefully we find that Darren Waller that came back to life with the Raiders a couple years back. So obviously he is our number one passing target. So if he's there and you're ready to take a tight end, I would take the flyer on him, and good things will happen. So. And you obviously know the targets will be there, so it's worth the risk because Daniel Jones has to throw to someone.
And as desolate as the tight end position is in fantasy, it's definitely worth the risk. Anthony, what do you say?
Right.
You guys are crazy. It's Daniel Bellinger. That's what you got to go. No.
Yeah, I love I like Bellinger a lot.
No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I agree with what everyone's saying about Darren Waller. I mean, he's a beast when he's healthy. You're gonna go with him. Top 10, definitely, and. It's tough with tight ends in fantasy. They get hurt so quickly, and he's like a wide receiver out there, tight end. So that's like having depending on what league you're in, 2 or 3 wide receivers, he's your third or fourth guy, wide receiver basically, but in the tight end position. So
right, and he could be the flex guy if you want to get frisky.
Yeah, flex too. Yeah,
100. Justin, close us out. What do you say?
Yeah, tight end is such a niche position in fantasy to where you really do have to go for the athletic guys. Because if you want to get stuck with the Tyler Conklins and the Daniel Bellingers of the world, you're just going to be suffering throughout the entire season. Just a quick look at what Daniel Bellinger did with Daniel Jones. He did not have a bad season for a guy who stepped on the field after about 4 games. So I'm looking at that.
He also had the eye injury as well.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. He did have the eye injury.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at it like this is a big opportunity for Darren Waller. If he can stay healthy, and that's a big if. He's missed 15 games out of his last 2 seasons. So that's a big if. But if he can stay healthy, if he can get it under control, this could be a top 5 season. That's why I have him in my top 5 at number 5.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, he's got that's why we do these little breakdowns. It got me so ready for my season last year. I'm like, man, I love doing this stuff. I'm sitting here looking at all this, and I'm like, man, it's just putting the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
This is like a Darren Waller, perfect storm for him. As long as he can stay on the field. God, I'm gonna stop saying it. It's going to be a good season.
Yeah, you're the one saying it.
I know, and I keep saying it. And I'm
just all stop with it if he stays.
Yes.
You could say that for any freaking player. Could be
No,
like
but
a
the thing is, you say that,
It's just a reason for him to bring up
15 games the last 2 seasons.
You're right. I just like bringing up America's quarterback. All right.
Let's change the narrative. I think America's team should be Miami, not Dallas. So I'm with you.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
Wow.
Miami is a
Kiss
much
your dad.
better city than Dallas. I just went to Dallas, and it's
This
tough.
smooching up here.
This
Jesus.
movement that started way back when is gonna finally get some legs at some point.
They haven't won a playoff game in our decade.
Listen, buddy. All right. We're gonna
Like
close
Danny.
things out.
Our millennium, I should say.
Let's get our Giants guest the fuck out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. We do appreciate you being here. It was a lot of fun, of course. And again, appreciate you. Make sure you go follow, subscribe, get all their great content. And stay here for tomorrow night. Hit the subscribe button, notifications bell. We're going to be in Washington, D.C. with the Commanders. That that fantasy side might take that last segment might be real quick tomorrow night.
Real quick for you. I hope you have a lot of family feud.
Pick out the
planned.
wide receiver, so it's
Well,
gonna be-
that's why we put it on Friday. So it's a quick night. Friday night, we'll get done, get out of here. All
Nothing
right,
to talk about quarterback wise, nothing.
Well, our guest tomorrow is going to give us a lot of shit. All right, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate you guys again. Thank you guys so much. Good luck to your Giants this year, and we are out.